Hello, hello again. Welcome to Verbling. Hi there. I'm Teacher Oakley. And for the next hour in this class, we are going to be having an open-ended conversation about taxes. Yay, taxes. We're going to be most likely learning some vocabulary as well. In fact, kind of like to start with that. Thinking about all of the taxes. We're going to talk about the taxes you pay in your countries and kind of compare. Might be interesting if we have a few students from different countries so we can kind of talk about that and how taxes work in our respective countries. So this will give us a chance to use English to learn a little vocabulary, do a little comparison, description. And of course, if we're talking about taxes, I expect I will be hearing students use English to give opinions and support them. Of course, I will facilitate the discussion, and I, of course, will be giving feedback to students about possible vocabulary, better vocabulary substitutions, or sentence structure problems and grammar. Okay. This is a conversation class, so someone come on and join me and we'll converse. We're going to talk about taxes. In some countries, this time of the year is actually a time of the year to deal with taxes at the end of the year. Americans, of course, have to do their taxes. The big crunch time is in April. In fact, April 15th is the due date to file your taxes. Surprisingly, many Americans wait until the very end to deal with their taxes for the previous year. Okay, hello Cornell. How are you today?
Hi, okay. I'm okay, more or less. And you?
More or less okay.
Yeah, because it is morning in Hungary, so I have just woken up.
Well, good morning. Are you a coffee person, Cornell? Do you
No,
have
no,
coffee?
I don't like cafe, cigarettes, and something like that. It is not healthy. And as I mentioned before, last occasions, I was playing football for 20 years,
All right.
so I don't like cafe and Red Bull and some energy drinks.
Okay. All right. Stay away from the caffeine. Okay. Uh, Cornell, our topic for today's discussion is taxes.
Yeah, taxes. Yeah, I have already checked it
Yeah.
before the
There,
lesson.
there's an expression or a saying in English. There are only two things certain in life: death and taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a common expression. Uh, okay. Um, First of all, general opinion. In Hungary, do you think you pay too much in taxes? Do you pay too little in taxes? Do you think you're overall taxed fairly and adequately?
Yeah, I think it is too much. 61% was a deduction from gross salary in Hungary.
Say what? Say that
60,
again.
61% is deducted from gross salary.
I'm speechless. That's a 6 and a 1.
Yeah, of course.
Wow. And that's an
Uh,
automatic deduction.
sorry. I mixed it. 60, 61% is a net salary. It is the punctual.
Okay. Still. All right, and that's an automatic deduction.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. But, well, that seems really like a lot. But I have to ask you, do you pay taxes when you buy products as a consumer?
Yeah, yeah. VAT is the highest in Hungary. It is 27% for some products.
I am just totally in shock. What
Yeah,
the information you're telling me is quite shocking to me.
yeah, yeah. And what is about in Philippines concerning VAT?
Yeah, we also have a VAT, which, by the way, VAT is an acronym in English. Each word, which we spell in capital or uppercase letters, represents a word. Each letter represents a word, and the actual what it stands for, what it represents, is value added tax, which frankly is the biggest misnamed thing I've ever heard in my life, because what value does a tax actually add? None that I know of. All right, to answer your question, the VAT in Philippines is 12%, if I'm not mistaken.
It is acceptable comparing it Hungary.
Yeah, it's fairly reasonable. And of course, it does not apply to food consumables, things you can eat. It's only applied to, well, merchandise you can't
Yeah.
eat.
Oh, okay. Please check the chat box.
Yeah, got it.
You can find a PDF about VAT rates in Europe.
Interesting. Thanks, Cornell. Thanks for sharing that. Let me go
You
ahead.
can see the rates on the page 3.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Let me take a minute to welcome Heidi. Hello,
Okay.
Heidi. Heidi, are you there? Can't hear you right now, Heidi. I'm not sure if you don't seem to be muted, so I don't know if there's a connection problem or microphone problem or what. But can't hear you just this second. All right. Heidi, try to get that fixed, and I'll come back to you in a little bit. All right. Hopefully she can rejoin us. Wow, I am just in awe. That's so high. Wow, that's crazy.
Sorry.
Oh, there we go.
My connection had a problem. I could hear your voice, but I couldn't say anything.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you're loud and clear now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. Our conversation is about taxes today. We've already actually mentioned income tax. The tax on how much money you make is called income tax. And we were just talking about the VAT, or value added tax. Sales tax in English. In America, we just call it sales tax. When I first moved to the Philippines, I had no idea what VAT meant. It's the same thing, sales tax, VAT. But in any case, Heidi, let me ask you, in Japan, is there a sales tax or a VAT?
Consumption tax.
Well, I guess that's another way to say it. Consumption tax. Yeah, you buy I don't know, a refrigerator, and you have to pay a tax.
Anything.
Well, anything. Okay, right. Okay. How much is it?
Now, 8%.
8%. That's not bad.
Until spring, April, it was 5%, but the government decided to rise up 3%. But after that, Japanese economy getting down. Then it's kind of agreement of three or four political parties. But now Prime Minister canceled that agreement because already Japanese economy was very bad now. Then if they rise up additional 2%, finally it will be 10%. That he break. Now he's breaking that agreement. So maybe he want to fix in 88%.
Okay, so his goal, Abe's goal, is to keep it at 8%. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Reasonable, but understandable because of the economy. That's when governments start playing around with taxes. Okay. Is there an income tax? Do you get money deducted from your income?
Income tax is already decided. He can't raise up the income tax anymore. It's quite high in Japan.
Is it high?
Yeah, high.
Is your income tax? Is it a flat tax? Does everybody pay?
No. Different. Depend on the income.
Right, depends on your income. It's staged or staggered.
Very low income family, they don't need to pay any tax.
Right. Okay. Same in the United States. Same kind of a setup. Okay. Hang on a sec. Araceli has joined us. Hi, Araceli.
Hi.
Hi. How are you today?
Good.
Good morning. Okay, let me brighten your morning by telling you we're having a conversation about taxes. Yay!
Wow.
Yay, taxes! Yay. All right, flowers and birds and taxes. Yay. Okay, so we're doing a little comparison shopping here. Cornell, being from Hungary, has absolutely stunned me with how high the taxes are, like a 61% income tax and a 27% VAT, or value-added tax. Just shocking, really. How about in Spain?
Well, they are not so high. The taxes over value added are very high too, are like 21 or depends on the product.
Right.
For example, here there was an initiative to ask for some certain products to have a lower tax, like for example diapers that are very highly taxed, or basic articles like food for babies. These kind of things have very high taxes, like they are luxury articles. Yes, but books for children at school have very high taxes. I mean, almost everything has 21% value added tax, but for salaries it's not 61. Fortunately, because if so, I wouldn't be able to pass by. But it depends on your income, as he said, and it's about maybe 30%, 40% for a medium salary, maybe about that. 30, 40, 40%.
Okay, that's pretty steep. Okay, I'm gonna compare also with Nader, who's just joined us. After that, just a little game, not really a game, but I want to see how many different kinds of tax that we can come up with. Because in the United States, I can say, oh, all right, well, sales tax is only 8%, or the income tax is fairly low. Middle income, it's, I don't know, like 20%. I can say that, but it's totally deceptive, because then we have so many other different taxes. There's so many. to think about. I want to play a game, see if we can name as many taxes as we can. But let me first ask Nader. Nader, I don't know. Maybe you could talk about. First of all, Nader, are you microphoned or are you typing? Okay, typing. And maybe you could tell us Egypt or in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia has like no tax, right? Is that right? Does Saudi Arabia have a tax? Yeah. Is there an income tax? Yes, no tax. That's what I thought. Unreal. Is there a sales tax or value-added tax for buying, goods, buy a book or something? No. Awesome. Do you hear that, Cornell? 61%, 27%, or 0? Oh my gosh. Wow. I wonder, I'm very curious, what is something like, I don't know, a bed from IKEA cost in Hungary, in Japan, in Saudi Arabia? Very curious. Actually, let's see if we can do that. What is something that we can all kind of agree on? This is a standard thing. I hate to do this, but many economic studies use the price of a Big Mac in McDonald's because that's a very standardized thing that basically every country has. I know it's a stupid thing to choose, but I've seen it in many economic articles. How much is a Big Mac? See if you can translate in US dollars. How much would a Big Mac be, Nader, in Saudi Arabia? If you can translate into American dollars. Let me also, $5. All right. About the same as an American. Okay. Hello, Johnny. Welcome to the class.
Hello everyone.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, and
Recently joining Burbling.
Recently joined Verbeling. Terrific. Well, we're happy to have you here with us. Glad you could join us. We're talking about taxes today, Johnny.
Yes.
Yeah. Where are you from?
I'm from China.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Interesting. All right. We've got a broad perspective. That's cool. Great. All right. Give us the quick rundown. Is there an income tax in China?
At the moment, I'm living in New Zealand, so I'm not sure about the income tax in China. But in New Zealand, I think there's income tax.
There is.
Yes.
And is there a value-added tax or sales tax or consumption tax, whatever you want to call it?
I think so. And then I think maybe this called a general tax or something. Not quite sure.
Another name. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Right. Okay. So that's any idea how much it is?
Pardon? You mean any idea as how much it is?
Yeah. Like percent, for example.
So I know for the income. So if you earning lower than 48,000 a year, so the income tax will be 17.5%. And if you over $52,000 a year, then need to pay 33%.
Okay. All right. So it's also staggered depending on income and.
Yeah.
All right. But how much is the sales tax or general
sales
tax?
Sales tax
book
should be. I'm not quite sure at the moment. Maybe I need to look at the receipt and I can see how much does it charge.
Find a receipt for us. Okay.
Okay.
Great.
I'll just find my receipt. Sorry.
Okay. All right. We're just doing another exercise here. We're trying to figure out how much is a Big Mac cheeseburger in your country. I'm curious if it corresponds with the tax levels. Nader said in Saudi Arabia maybe $5, Araceli 6 and a little bit. Mr. Coffee? I don't know.
Oakley, Oakley,
Cornell, yes.
just quick additional information. Not cheeseburger, Big Mac price. There is
Okay.
a Big Mac index.
There's a what? Come again?
Big Mac index. Do you know it? No.
No.
No. Okay, I will send a link to the chat box.
Okay. Well, Cornell, since I'm talking to you, Cornell, how much is a Big Mac? How much do you have to pay if you want a Big Mac?
It is approximately 10 euros in Hungary.
10 euros. So
Yeah.
that's going to be, so that's going to, 10 euros. What is that, like $12 then in America?
It is quite high.
Oh my goodness. Seriously, I could suppress a Big Mac attack for that, for that much. Wow. Okay, so it does correspond with the tax. It looks like. Heidi, how much is a Big Mac in Japan?
Now they have some campaign sale about Big Mac.
Yeah.
So I calculated $4.1 or $2 now.
Okay, a little over $4. Okay, there's a campaign for a Big Mac, or
Yes.
not about, but okay, right.
Japan yen, 500 yen.
All right, 500 yen. Okay. Yeah, in the Philippines, I think it's not the same in every McDonald's. First of all, here, definitely not. Prices are always higher where they have captive audiences, like near a university where you don't have much time, or in a business district where you just got to get a quick lunch. But anyway, there's a range. But I'd say the range is like similar, a little over $4, maybe at the most. No, because
I'm sorry, it's set menu. So maybe only Big Mac cheaper than that. Maybe $3.5.
yeah, three. Oh wow, that's cheap. Okay, but you have one of the lowest taxes, right? Although I'm surprised that it costs so much in Saudi Arabia. Here, it's actually I think it's a little over $4 in reality. Okay, so according to the Wikipedia, all right, this is 2008, so yeah, it's a little late. $3.57 in the United States. I'm sure it's up to $4 now. I think it's maybe $3.99 or something like that now. So $4, which is about the same here in the Philippines. I think it's about the same, exactly. Right. So what we're talking about, yeah, okay, the link that Cornell provided, you guys can check it out. They're basically talking about Big Mac index. They're talking about purchasing power parity. Well, that's fun to say. Okay, how much will your money buy in different places? Which is basically, I guess, what I was trying to talk about. Big Mac index. All right, purchasing power parity. How much can you get for your money? Interesting. So Philippines and Japan are pretty much the same as the United States. It's actually a little more expensive in Saudi Arabia, and a little bigger jump in Spain, and then Cornell.
Also in America, United States.
Well, according to the article 2008, it says $3.57 is the average, but that was 2008. I'm guessing, but I would bet it's probably $3.99 or something by now. Guessing. I don't know, but I would guess.
I have some data. It's in Spanish, but the data are in English. So, for example, you can see in that link I've sent you, at the end of it, you have a table, and these are the prices for 2014. So it's, for example, for the United States, 462, and for
462.
yes, the in dollars. For Spain, 495, for example, and maybe it's for Venezuela, 715. It's high. And for Switzerland, 714. So it's
Interesting.
for India, it's only $1.54. It's very there is a
Okay.
huge variation.
This is supposedly, this data is from January 2014, so about a year old. Okay. Interesting. It's interesting, in India, it's only $1.54.
Yes.
Wow. But in Norway, it's 780. I suspect, and I fully believe Cornell, that it's even more than that in Hungary. Wow. Cornell, can let's make a deal. I'll start shipping you Big Macs, all right? And you can sell them for a profit. I'll send you a container ship container full of Big Macs, all right? You can we can make a deal. Wow. Wow. Okay, so it looks like, also looking at the information, Araceli, I'm going to guess. I don't know, but we're talking about taxes. From word of mouth, I don't have any proof, but I've heard that Norway, Switzerland, Hungary, I do know, because Cornell's sitting here, generally have much higher taxes. Such is the rumor, at any rate. So I would suspect that India must have, I don't know, somebody from India join the class. Let's talk about that. Very interesting comparing that data. How close does that correspond with taxes? Okay, back to taxes here. We're focusing a lot on the VAT tax, but what other taxes do you have to pay? Cornell, back to you. What is another kind of tax?
There are many taxes in Hungary because economic situation in Hungary is not too good because of government instructions. And for example, internet taxes. Government would like to launch the internet taxes by the following year, but it was rejected because of and there is a flat taxes and something like that. So situation is getting wrong in Hungary because of economic situation regarding taxes and yeah, that's all.
Wow. Internet tax. I'm against that. Obviously, I make my living on the internet. I'm dramatically, hugely, completely, and absolutely opposed to an internet tax in any country.
You are right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a unique one. I've actually never heard about that before. Thank you. Before we continue dreaming up new taxes, please, I hope no one from any government is actually listening to this broadcast. I don't want to give anybody ideas, okay? First of all, I'm going to say federal tax. In America, the automatic deductions that you have out of my wage, I get my paycheck, there are deductions already taken out. Federal tax, then there's going to be a state tax, which is a percentage, maybe 25% of the federal tax goes to your state. And also you have to pay Social Security. That's an automatic. They tell you you will get back when you are retired, but in fact, we all know that none of us are going to get that money back. They're not fooling us anymore. I've given up on that. Depending where you live, there could be a municipal tax. Some states might have it, some states don't. Some states don't have a state tax. Nevada comes to mind. So these taxes are automatically deducted from your income. Okay, let's dream up some new taxes. Okay, so Heidi, what other taxes do you have to pay in Japan?
Property tax.
Property tax. Ooh, there's a big one.
It's for local government.
It's for, what is property tax earmarked?
Very expensive. In my case, I'm living in a condo. I don't have any land, but still I need to pay property tax. I need to pay $2,700 every year.
Okay, that sounds familiar
Very, very
to me.
expensive. So always after paying that, I'm about to die.
Yeah. Okay. In the United States, property tax also you pay annually. It's based on a tax assessor comes to your house. They come to your house about every 10 years, really.
I have a question. Is the property tax the same as the capital gain tax? Is it the same?
No, totally different. We'll get there.
If you have a house, you need to pay tax. But if you are borrowed or rented a house, you don't need to pay tax.
Mm-hmm.
Owner need to pay.
That's right. The owner. And when most 98% of homeowners in the United States borrow the money from the bank, but still they have to pay the tax. Sometimes you make the bank loan so that when you're paying the bank, your taxes are automatically part of the payment, and then the bank pays the tax. So it's like a hidden tax. It's like a hidden charge. You forget about it. You forget that you're actually paying it, but it's still there.
And student tax only for Japanese, I think. It's for car owner of cars, they need to pay weight tax of car.
What?
Weight, heavy. If you have a heavy car, it gives damage to the street, right? So heavier car need to pay more tax.
Wow, this is a very illuminating class, I must say. Weight tax. So how much your car weighs or truck, you have to pay.
We have normal car, so every year we need to pay 40,000 yen. It means $400.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay.
But every 2 years.
Every 2 years. Well, but still. Okay. Okay, but is that money, all right, now, is that money, when they collect taxes, all right, is that money that for this weight tax for cars, is this earmarked or targeted specifically for infrastructure, roads, transportation?
Yeah, right. To repair the street or a road or a bridge.
Right. This is what I hate about American taxes, is they, for example, they tax cigarettes, but then they use that money for campaign finance or something. Instead of using that money to get people to quit smoking or for medical care for smokers or something related to smoking, they take that money and use it for some stupid, a study on, I don't know, potato bugs in Idaho or something. They take the money and they redistribute it to the whatever crazy scheme the government wants. So that really annoys me. At least you know the money's going to that one thing, which is the thing about property tax in the United States. Property tax is local, and pretty much you know that 80 or 90% of that's going to education, most likely. Schools, exactly. There. Yeah. In any case, so that at least you know that it's going for something good. You're not buying bombs with it. You're educating children. It's okay. Okay, excise tax. We're gonna get back to that. Oh, geez, you guys there's too much information. And Nader, you're exactly correct. The problem with the property tax funding education in the United States, if you have a poor town, guess what? You have a poor education. You're exactly correct. Or if you live in the South Bronx, not obviously, even though you're just across the river from Manhattan, of course, going to have extremely high value properties. You're going to have a lot of money from property tax. Manhattan schools are pretty darn good for the most part. Go across the river to the Bronx, it's another story. Yeah, that's exactly the problem with that sort of funding. You're exactly correct.
But
Okay.
sorry, I don't understand that. So your taxes depends on your neighborhood. They are because here in Spain you pay taxes no matter where you live, and then the government gets the money and distributes the money among the different cities for education. So it doesn't mind if you're in a rich or poor city because the amount is the same. Do you mean for every neighborhood the money is distributed from their own taxes?
I should clarify, not really neighborhood, but municipalities. So I come from a town, all right, and my town has funds its own education. Each town funds its own education. New York, of course, is made up of different municipalities. You have Manhattan, the Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn, Staten Island, and so each municipality will fund independently. Each municipality completely self-governs itself when it comes to education. In fact, you generally have a school board, who are elected officials. They campaign. There's a vote, and they decide the budget for the schools in that specific municipality. Yes, that is what I'm saying. So if you have a lot of business or industry, or in my case, I grew up in a resort town with an enormously valuable ski resort, a very top end, high quality ski resort. So we had and there's a lot of hotels, giant luxury hotels. That means a lot of property tax. My school was excellent, very, very good, private school level. But the next town over from me was a farming town. Farms, even though there's big pieces of land, they're not really worth a lot of money. So the property tax, the amount of money they raise, not that much. So just whatever, 10 miles from me, the next school district, the next town, and their education not that good. My school probably had about 90% of their students went on to university, graduated to university. The next town over was probably like 20%. Big difference, only 10 miles apart. Yeah, that's true. So
It's completely different from our system because here in Spain, for example, there are some regions that are wealthier, like Catalonia, and they want to get separated because they say they pay taxes, and so children in poorest areas in Spain are getting educated with the taxes that they are paying, so they want to go away from Spain. So it's a completely different approach. Yours is more like everyone is on his own business.
Every man for himself, yeah.
Yes, it's extremely different.
But it's not 100% that way. The federal government contributes in a more even-handed manner. They contribute to schools. All right, but they use that money to kind of manipulate the schools to do what they want them to do. When I was young, a long time ago, they initiated a program called the President's Physical Fitness Program. They demanded that all students basically take a fitness test. I mean, this sounds crazy, but it's absolutely true. You have to run 100 meters in a certain time. You have to do so many push-ups. You have to do whatever. To combat child obesity is the idea. But they pegged that to federal funds. So if you did not do that, your school is not going to get the money. So this is how the federales, this is how the federal government kind of manipulates the school system in America. They use that federal funding as a club, a carrot and a stick. Either they give it to you because you do what they want you to do, or they take it away. So anyway, there's also federal funding and some state funding that is much more widespread, of course. So it's not 100% that way, but a lot of it is that way. More than 50% of the funding works that way. Yeah. So crazy, right? Aristotele? Yeah, well, yeah, that's the way it is. It's American style. Aristotele, what other kind of crazy tax do you have in Spain?
I guess for gasoline, they are really high because I don't know if in different countries, but here I think that maybe 50-60%, I'm not sure, of the value of the money you pay when you buy gasoline is taxes. So it doesn't matter if the barrel goes down, if the barrel prices goes down, we never get the price of a liter of gasoline go down. I don't know why, because maybe they get it for taxes, or I don't know if it's for the companies that process it, but it's very, very high, and they are constantly increasing this price. So
okay, yeah, as you know, as I'm sure you all know, the Brent crude barrel oil price has dropped dramatically. We all know it's had huge repercussions across the world economy. $60 a barrel now, I heard, I think is the most recent. Araceli, did the gas prices go down in Spain to buy gas for your car?
well, really now a little bit, because it was like I was €1 and 40, and the last time I put gas on my tank it was €1 and 20, so it went down, but not so much. I mean, maybe 10%, 5% of the price to 20 cents. So
Okay,
in
so
140, yes. So it's not as much, the proportion of the rate is not the same between the
right.
the barrel. So I guess it's because the taxes are very high. So what I'm paying are most taxes than the material, the petrol.
So
Really.
what is it? What are you paying? 120 now?
Yes, now 120. Yes.
Okay, so that's all right.
Yeah,
For a
okay.
liter. Yeah. Cornell, go ahead.
Yeah, no, it is a global activity in Europe because of Russian crisis. So
Yeah.
petrol prices are reduced because of Russian crisis. There
Right.
is a financial
Well,
financial crisis in Russia at the
well,
moment.
that and the fact that the Saudis are trying to kill their market by not reducing oil. They're trying to knock off their competitors. It's all business, you know. It's standard business practice. It's understandable. And America's pumping shale oil, fracking like there's no tomorrow. Maybe there is no tomorrow. Anyway, right, there's a number of factors, but absolutely. Here in the Philippines, the gas price dropped 25%. Pretty much exactly. It was 50 pesos per liter, which is pretty much like $1.25 American, and it dropped to $1. Actually, it's slightly less than $1 now for a liter. 1.3 Cornell in Hungary.
Yeah, it is the petrol
Euros.
price in Hungary at the moment, but it has been reduced
Okay.
continuously.
Okay, and I'm sure you have a gas tax. Of course you
Yeah.
do. You know.
Gas and cigarettes and similar products tax name is Hungary excise tax.
Excise taxes. That's what you're
Yeah,
talking
excise
about.
tax. It is quite high in Hungary.
Right. Okay. In the United States, we call those tax on cigarettes, alcohol, maybe something else. Anyway, we call those sin taxes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do bad sins, you pay extra tax. Anyway, I want to talk to Johnny for a minute.
Oh, hello.
Hi. Okay, over there in New Zealand, has the gas price gone down?
It's going down, but it remains like $1.88 at the moment. So it's still expensive. Not that expensive, but just like remain to that level at the moment.
Now, wait a minute. Did you say $1.88 or 88
$1.88
per liter?
per liter.
That's pretty steep. It's pretty
Yeah.
expensive.
Yes, because maybe they need to export the petrol, maybe oil from the other country to New Zealand because New Zealand is quite isolated.
Right. Does
Yeah.
Does New Zealand have any gas or oil reserves? I totally don't know.
As I know, there's none oils in New Zealand, so they must import it from Australia or maybe the other countries.
Ah, well, that explains a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, Araceli, 50% gas tax? My gosh.
Yes. I told you it was high.
75%. Hungary, 75%.
Wow!
Yes.
You
Ouch.
work for the government, all of you.
Yeah, no
Hungary.
kidding.
Yeah.
That's right. If you live in
We
Hungary,
have
you work for the government.
Yeah, we have a very good government in Hungary.
Yeah, really?
Situation is the same as cigarette taxes. It is up to 75%.
Right, yeah, okay. Here in the Philippines, just last year, they a new tax on cigarettes. They made it 50%. Instantly. Oh, no. 100%. 100% tax on cigarettes here. Just last year. So the cigarette price has doubled. They tried to do it with alcohol, but the alcohol lobbyist, there was too many very rich people in the alcohol business, so they blocked it. Yeah, there's some powerful guys here in the alcohol. It's quite obvious. They managed to influence the government to have zero taxes on alcohol, but yet imports of alcohol are tariffed 100%. So any kind of alcohol from another country is automatically double in price. So they have no competition. They are, very limited competition. Very sneaky, these people. Obviously controlling the government decisions. Clearly. Okay, we're talking about crazy gas taxes. Nader, make us all want to pull our hair out. What is the gas tax in Saudi Arabia? Yeah. Of course. I'm sure it's zero. Nader, subsidy. Okay. No tax. And how much do you pay for gasoline per liter? No tax for sure, right? Of course. And make us all jealous by telling us how much per liter do you have to pay? Or do they just give you gas? 0.14. Yeah, put that in your pipe and smoke it. 0.14 per liter. Okay, 14 cents a liter. Wow, my gosh, crazy, right? Incredible. Wow, that's wild. Johnny, earlier you brought up capital gains tax. It was another kind of tax. Okay, capital gains tax. Now this is actually something interesting to talk about. Has to do with business profit, right? Or profit from business, or possibly profit from business ventures. So that's not, income tax is different. Income tax is how much money you make from doing your job. That's a separate thing. Very interesting. Capital gains tax back in the days in the United States in pre-Ronald Reagan was something like 38%. It was quite high. He reduced it to like 18%, and it's never gone back up again. From 1940s after World War II to 1980, whatever, 1, 2, 3, whenever he passed the law, it was 38%. But then he reduced it 20%, and Americans wonder why they're always running a deficit and why the income disparity is so huge now. Well, hello, because you don't tax businesses. Plus, another word I would like to introduce you to is commonly, there are tax loopholes. Loopholes, for example, a business, if they really don't want to pay any tax, they can, because the money that they use for research and development is deductible. So that if they make 1,000, whatever, they have to pay 18%. Okay, they owe 180. If they just invest 180 into research and development, then they don't pay any tax. Period. There are many American American companies that do not pay tax. There are some American companies that are paid by the government. Let's see, Exxon comes to mind. Oil companies, many energy producing companies get paid subsidies by the government. They don't pay anything in taxes. So Johnny, do companies pay taxes in New Zealand?
They do. As I know that a company, they need to pay maybe 50 something, or maybe 30 something, 38 or 50 something. Depends
38.
on how much they, depends on how much they earn.
Okay, also staggered. All right, very good.
Yeah.
Right, I see. Johnny, are there any other weird taxes in New Zealand?
The weird taxes.
Weird taxes. I don't know. Any other crazy taxes? Gas,
Um,
cigarettes, alcohol. What else do they tax?
To be honest, I have no idea. Maybe the people they got drunk in the morning, they need to pay tax when they need to stay in the prison.
Prison tax if you go to prison. Okay.
Just joking.
Actually, speaking of spending the night, in the United States, most states, this is a kind of a state thing, most states have rooms and meals tax, a special tax for restaurants, even McDonald's or nice restaurants or hotels. And that's usually pretty high, 12, 15, 18%. So when you get a hotel room, maybe even 20%. We also have that. Unemployment tax. I almost forgot about that. Right. You guys are talking in the sideline about unemployment. Businesses have to pay unemployment tax as well, which doesn't come directly from your income, your paycheck. Individuals don't pay it, but your company has to pay it, and they have to pay depending on how many people work in the company. So really, you are paying it. company pays the money and it doesn't actually appear in your records, but on the other hand, if the company has to pay unemployment tax, they can't pay you that money. So in the long run, the people really are paying another hidden tax, another way that you get taxed, but you don't ever see it. Hidden taxes, secret taxes. Okay. Cornell, do you have is there such a thing as unemployment tax in Hungary?
No, there is no unemployment tax, but we are talking about an unemployment situation in Spain with Araceli because it is extremely high in Spain. If
Yeah.
you check the email box, you can find the information about unemployment rate in Spain. It is but in my point of view, it is a global problem in Europe that there is no enough job or jobs for young people.
You know something, and now I need some help from Heidi here. I recently, I admitted I was pressed for time. I did not read the article. I kind of scanned it. There was a recent article. I believe that Japan was trying to start some kind of program to entice foreign workers because there's such an older population and lack of younger workers. They're actually trying to get foreign workers to come and work in Japan. Is that right, Heidi? Am I?
Not yet. It's still
Not yet.
You know.
They're talking about it.
Talking about that. Many
Okay.
people disagree with that. Only some technological and some authority or some professional or soccer players or professor of university we can accept. But common workers, we don't want to accept that because we see the European countries, they already accept many foreigners. Then each country has some conflict. I see the Germany. Germany accepted a lot of people from Turkey. Then that people don't want to accept the culture, German culture, so they constructed their own schools. Then there are a lot of criminals in Germany. Then nowadays the new Nazism came out. They always have some violence to foreigners.
Okay. Well, yeah. Obviously, the whole immigration question is another, obviously,
Yeah.
linked to economies. Right.
So we all worried about that.
There are I have other Brazilian students too. There's another thing. If you have any kind of technical ability, whether that's in IT or any kind of engineering, drafting, anything like that, I have a private student. And he works in development. He works in a government bank, and he has to assess and approve loans for government projects like hospitals and railroad constructions and ports and airports and these types of things. And he's always telling me that Brazil is completely desperate for people with like engineering degrees or IT. So some of you Europeans take a nice little vacation in Brazil for about 5 years. Mm-hmm. Try it out. I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I think there's all of what we're talking about kind of points to now, I don't know, you might agree, just my opinion, all of these things we're talking about, these many different factors point to a lot of people on the earth moving around to try to find a better spot, to try to adjust for taxes and unemployment and all of that. It just seems to me I think there's going to be a lot more people migrating. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy.
Fortunately, Japanese researchers and scientists can create some industrial robot. It's much better than
robots. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, yeah. Maybe robots the way to go.
robots much better than people.
Okay. Right.
They don't have any riot
You don't have
conflict.
to. You don't have to pay a robot unemployment. You just unplug it. That's it. Okay, interesting. We've sparked about 100 different conversations going on here, and we could just go on for a long time. But unfortunately, I'm out of time. Yeah, we could have been talking for a while, but I'm out of time. I'm sorry. I have to close up the class now. But thank you, everyone, for participating. Very interesting. A little bit shocking, frankly, some of it. Thank you all very much. See you again real soon here in Verbling. Bye for now.